This model from Conrad is pretty unusual because nowhere on the packaging or on the model is there any mention of the original equipment manufacturer of the real machine. So there's no details about the real excavator, and the model comes in a standard Conrad branded box, and inside there's the model itself and a small bag which contains a couple of mirrors that have to be fitted. There's no instructions for fitting the clip-on mirrors, but the casting of the body seems to be based on the earlier Case CX240B model. And on that model the mirrors were installed pointing downwards, but this isn't advertised as a Case machine, so we can do what we like. So we'll install them with the mirrors pointing upwards. One other point about the mirrors is that they don't have a silvered surface, they're just pieces of black plastic, so they don't look quite so realistic. There's very little in the way of detail underneath the model, but one surprising thing is that there is no model number on the underside of the casting, as there normally is on Conrad models. The tracks are metal and they're okay, and they're mounted on fairly simple track frames which have no working rollers, and the main drive sprocket has a rather large brass rivet. The cab detailing is fairly simple. There's a plastic grab rail on the outside, but there's no lights or windscreen wipers. The model is decorated in the colours of Heffner, which is a small building company located in Nuremberg in Germany. The paintwork is good and the graphics are sharp, but there's no indication at all of the maker of the real machine. The body casting has some details, and there's a metal handrail on the access stairs at the front. The engine cover on the top includes an exhaust and some other detailing, and there's some rubber hydraulic hoses running to the boom foot. There are no hydraulic hoses though across the boom and stick connection. The rivets are brass and a little bit obvious, and the colour match on the cylinder jackets to the metal parts isn't quite so good. At the end of the stick, the bucket is a reasonable and good looking casting. Moving the excavator onto the test track for the rolling test, and there's too much friction for them to roll on a smooth surface, although you can work them pretty well by hand, and they're tensioned by springs in the idlers, but on a rough surface the tracks do roll really quite well, so that's a good plus point. The body rotates as you'd expect, and it's smooth without being too loose. In terms of the excavator movements, the model is fine. The boom and the stick have a good range of movement, and you can fold them up small or reach out at a distance. There's enough stiffness in the mechanism so that the model will hold any poses you set, and you can also pose it digging deep into a trench. At the end of the stick, the bucket also has a good range of digging movement. In summary, this is a good quality model made to Conrad's usual standards of strength and robustness. However, the detail level is not exciting, and it seems expensive for what is offered. However, it may interest some collectors because of the unusual fact that the original machine maker is not identified.